You're listening to Night Dreams Radio with Gary Anderson.
Well, hi, everyone. This is Gary, and tonight is, well, Thursday already. It's the first of our 5-day-a-week broadcast on Night Dreams Talk Radio. Yes, I got a little laryngitis. I've been out working on my motorcycle, getting wet, and, getting sick from working on my motorcycle in the rain. Hey, tonight we got an awesome guest on, Douglas Smythe, and we're going to talk a little bit of, hopefully I said his name right, we're going to be talking about UFOs, we're going to be talking about Roswell, and him and his partner have a shaving company. And he gave me a link to some of the YouTube videos he does, and they are so crazy and awesome that I was only going to watch one, to be honest with you, but I ended up watching a whole season of them, one right after another. The one I found was so interesting was the one where the razor actually became paranormal and become life, and it was... Oh, man, the writing behind all that stuff and the acting on it is just so exciting. Anyway, with all that, I'm going to bring him on, and hopefully everything is working. And you know how it is when you go and do a show once a week, everything works because you test everything out. But, you get jinxed when you go from 1 day a week show to 5 days a week. You go to operate the equipment, and guess what? It doesn't work. Let's see if he's there. Are you there?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. You're there.
Excellent.
Hey.
Well, it's good to be here.
Well, I'm glad I have you. Hey, by the way, the samples you sent me, that Bay rum, that stuff is just totally awesome. I have never, in my 66 years and probably 40 years of shaving, never found a cologne that actually smelled that good. And what I found it was really interesting, Douglas, you put the stuff on, and 3 minutes later, it still smells good. But then 2 hours later, guess what? It still smells just as good. Yeah.
And that's not a clone. That's my original Bay rum.
Oh, yeah. How do you guys make it, or how is it made, out of curiosity? I know this is not paranormal, but I mean, I just, I was kind of excited about this stuff.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, well, to a certain extent, I mean, perfuming in itself it comes out of alchemy, which could be considered a paranormal science from back in the day. But I make that one. I actually have a whole entire story about how that one came to be on my website. But I'm a Bay rum lover. I've been wearing Bay rum most of my life. And so I wanted to recreate I wanted to create the best bay rum in the world. And I spent a lot of time in Central America, about 4 years down there. And one of the things I was exposed to was the rum and the process of making rum. So I took these processes, if you will, and kind of mixed it in with perfuming technique or traditional perfuming techniques. And that's what was born from.
Okay, you actually had time to play around with rum and not drink it?
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Okay, I was just curious about that one. Yeah, yeah. I tell you, I'd probably be splashing on the raw rum. Hey,
oh yeah,
yeah.
Well, traditionally, that's what it's made from. It's made from real rum. It's like a pirate's aftershave, if you will. Back in the day on the ships, pirates weren't smelling too good, so they would mix the rum with a bay leaf from the different West Indian islands. And that's where what it's born from. At least that's how the myth goes, or the legend goes anyways.
Okay. Well, how did you come out with your product? I mean, I'm not asking for your top secret, but...
study. Let's see. I created my first perfume when I was probably about 8 or 9 years old with a chemistry set my mother got me. And I actually made it for her and gave it to her, and she still has it to this day. So I don't know what that says about the quality of the perfume, but I did start fooling around with the stuff back then.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, the business really came to be while I was sitting lying in a hammock in Central America. I literally lived in a hammock for about 4 years on the edge of the rainforest on this beach down there, and I was getting bit by sand fleas all the time. And I couldn't figure out what to do with it. I couldn't find any salve or anything to put on it that would stop it from itching. So I ended up creating my own thing. It was kind of like an afterbite type product that I called It's No Mas.
Uh-huh.
And it was so effective that the locals and other tourists were knocking on my tent flap to get some. And I thought to myself, if I ever made it back to the United States, I'm going to sell this stuff. I'm going to ship it down to Central America and see how it does. And I ended up doing that. And I had created another product on top of that called Stink No Mas, which was an emergency deodorant / insect repellent. So when you sweat, you were actually repelling mosquitoes. And that did even better. But after a little while, I realized I was losing money on the shipping. So I was like, I just need to do something up here. And so I started focusing on deodorants, creating just deodorants to sell to folks up here.
Uh-huh.
From that went to mustache wax. And from mustache wax went to traditional wet shaving products like soap making, which is something I studied. I took a couple classes on in college.
Uh-huh.
Never thought I'd ever use it. I just did it for the easy credits. But lo and behold, here I am.
Oh, wow. Well, I was really impressed. He did send me a couple samples, and I tried it out, and I was really shocked in how, like I said, I haven't found any bay rum ever like that, the stuff you go buy, you go buy at the store, you put it on, and 5 minutes later, you can't even smell it. I mean, I put this stuff on, and actually, my wife came to bed, and she was upset because, she has asthma. And I put the stuff on that morning, and she was smelling it yet when hey, and I'm a biker dude, so I mean, I didn't even try your deodorant out. That was just the bay rum, and it worked good.
Yeah. Well, what's different than my aftershaves than most is it's actually an aftershave / cologne.
Uh-huh.
So it's got all the face-saving ingredients of an aftershave or of a traditional aftershave, but it's got the staying power of like Barry White, where it's going to last all day. You don't even need a cologne on top of that, as you figured out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I thought it fit the theme of your show. I mean, Atomic Age Bay Rum is what it's called, and if you can see it in the artwork, it's very paranormal.
Well, it's different, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I was going for an H.P. Lovecraft type vibe with the label design.
Yeah. Well, hey, why don't you tell everybody your website real quick, and then we'll start. Then we'll start talking about hopefully Roswell and UFOs and stuff like that.
Oh, sure, totally. Well, my website is phoenixshaving.com. For anyone interested in learning the art of traditional wet shaving and picking up some gear, that's where you go, phoenixshaving.com. It's also, it's more than just shaving gear to me. Every label tells a story. There's anagrams, there's clues, there's paranormal, there's mystery. There's so much going on with our label designs, and even on our sales page, the stories we tell. So if you're into that kind of thing, you're really going to enjoy using our products, because it's more than just shaving products. It's a total experience.
Well, when you go into like the drugstores, you can't even find regular razor blades anymore. And when I was watching one of the shows, you had your variety pack of different razor blades. Oh, yeah. So, I got to get some of that because, Oh, you'll thank me.
You definitely thank me.
A lot of people, sit there, and I honestly feel you get a better shave with the razors of 30 years ago, these disposable razors, dual blade or 5 triple blade or whatever.
Oh my God!
They plug up right away. You don't even get a decent first shave off of it. With a regular razor, you could have a full beard and start trimming it away. You don't have to worry about the thing getting, plugged up. You just rinse it out and there you go.
Exactly. Plus, think of the money you save too. 100 blades, DE blades cost between $9 and $15, where 4 cartridge blades cost about $25.
Oh yeah. And and
It's
people
ridiculous.
say, and they say, the new type of razors, you don't cut yourself. Well, you know what? After you shave it with it 2 or 3 times, you do cut yourself. And
I'm sure. You try to extend the life of the cartridge because they're so expensive. You end up using it when you shouldn't be using it anymore. It dulls. It's going to cut you anyways. Plus, it's going to give you razor bumps and razor burn. And these are things that didn't exist back in the day when we were using safety razors. That came with cartridge razor shaving. So, yeah, there's 1,000,001 reasons why everyone should make the switch to using a single edge or a double edge razor.
Well, I think that actually the industry went the way they went because it's money. They make more money.
I call it the razor conspiracy. That came about in 1970. Wilkinson Sword created the first cartridge, or released the first cartridge. Gillette followed suit in 1971. And the only reason why they brought these things to market was because they were losing their patents very soon on DE blades and those razors. So that's the only reason why this new tech, if you will, was created, totally for money.
Yeah, well, I don't even know what happened. I have 8 kids. Out of the 8 kids, 6 are male.
8 is enough.
Yeah, but tell me about it. Actually, 4 would have been enough in some cases. But what I found interesting, like my dad gave me his original razor, and I don't know what happened to it. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it disappeared, but it was his father's razor.
Exactly.
Then he had it,
same thing.
And then I got it, and it was probably close to 100 years old. And I mean, you just put a blade on it. It was good to go. I mean, and it's so simple.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And they're truly heirloom pieces where you can pass it down from generation to generation. Try doing that with a cartridge razor. You can't.
No. Especially if you
work just as well.
Especially if you're like me. If you're like me and your wife goes shopping, right, and comes back, hey, I got you 10 razors for $1 at the dollar store. And I said, hey, have you ever tried shaving with those?
Yeah, exactly. You get what you pay for.
Yeah, I use them to remove lint off my T-shirts, actually.
It's
about all they're good for.
Pills.
Yeah.
I've done that too.
Okay, now, UFOs.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to tell you a little experience I had, okay? Back in the, I'd say, mid-'70s, I went down to North Carolina for a while. I did a job there with my new wife at the time. And she didn't like it, and she said, we either come back to Seattle or I'm going to divorce you and leave myself. So we drove nonstop back from North Carolina. We got into New Mexico, and I was going through a desert. And all of a sudden, the road was lit up in front of me, the side of me, behind me, and it was real bright. And I figured, hey, some guy in a helicopter or maybe the police, because I was speeding. What can I say about that? I mean, it was a desert area. And I don't think they had a speed limit there either at that time. So I was probably speeding. And I figured, okay, I'm being followed. So I pull off the side of the road. Okay, the thing was right there over us. I couldn't see it because it was so bright. And then instantaneously, it was like gone. It was like poof. And it made me wonder. I mean, I don't think it didn't make any noise at all. None.
Right.
You couldn't
Very
hear.
Suspect.
You couldn't hear anything. So that got me thinking, hey, this must be, if there is a UFO, that had to be a UFO experience. So that's what kind of got me into the paranormal. So let's go into talking about UFOs. That's my experience on UFOs.
Yeah, that's very cool, and it's a classic experience. Like non-classical flight principles are in effect there, where you don't hear it, but you see it.
Yeah, but my car didn't die. So like in the movies, the cars, die, and all the lights go out.
Lost time.
Yeah, no. I wish it would have been lost time, actually, but no, I didn't. No.
Well, who knows? Did you check your watch afterwards?
I didn't even think about that. Honestly,
exactly.
Honestly, I had to find a restroom right after that because I'll be honest with you, I was scared. I was really scared because I never saw anything like that in my life before, and I haven't ever